I'm sorry?
May I drop out of this group? I don't have any earphones. I don't feel cool. I don't feel very cool.
Just be careful for the echo.
Oh, okay. Just kidding. Chris, okay. I need some words.
We're going to
you have some in your bag?
Get started here.
I don't have.
I'm going to go grab an extension in case you want
to. Okay, Chris, take care.
Okay, we're getting started. It's live. And here. So, folks, as you come on, if you can hear us and see us, let us know in the chat. There's a little delay between our broadcasting and people watching this, so we're buying ourselves just a little time here, even though we're live broadcasting. Thank you for joining us today, Brother Eli Lopez from Christian Life College, Brother Gary Carter from Texas Bible College, Brother Mooney from Indiana Bible College, and Brother Seth Gillet from Apostolic Bible Institute, sitting in for Brother Gerald Grant. And so we'll get started. I just want to let folks know that this broadcast has been brought to you by Finish Line Planner. And you will see on the right side of your screen, there is a red sign up button where you can sign up for our next free webinar on how to reach every door. Direct marketing can, let me fix this here real quick. Anyway, direct marketing can be a dead-end street for your church if you don't know the ins and outs of your opportunities. In our next webinar on how to execute a Reach Every Door campaign, we will show you how to target your mailing, how to design your postcards, and how to follow up with your mailing, and how to leverage your new contacts in order to multiply the results. You have the potential to see a 6,250% increase in the typical direct mail results with this method presented. We will show you how you can target to reach each new visitor family for under $5 each. We'll share testimonies of how various phases of this method have produced miraculous results. Make sure to click on the red sign up button to the right of your screen if you are part of the live webinar, or use the link posted in the recorded video. This is a free webinar and you do not want to miss it. Iron sharpens iron as people of distinct personalities, abilities, and giftings come together. The webinars offered by Finish Line Planner have stretched me. I am a collector of ideals, and in each session I've come away with ideals that I'll adapt and make my own. Pastor Carlton Kuhn Sr. from Calvary in Springfield, Missouri. To be able to sit and listen to some of the greatest minds of our movement concerning church growth is something that you can't simply miss. These insights are what Finish Line Planner has given to the leaderships of the Pentecostals of Palm Beaches. We have received valuable knowledge and direction during the webinars. Pastor Daniel Kyle, Pentecostals of Palm Beach, West Palm Beach, Florida. I have become a YouTube subscriber to Finish Line Planner's channel because I find the content to be practical and applicable to church growth. Hugh's webinars are well organized and chock full of useful information. Good stuff. Brother Tom Snyder, pastor of the Church on the Rock in Lima, Ohio. I would encourage any pastor to take the time to join Hugh's webinars. Myself and several staff members have watched together and found it to be well done. Presentation full of practical information. Great conversation and ideals were inspired as a result. Brother Spencer McPherson, pastor of the Full Gospel Tabernacle in Hayworth, Illinois. So don't miss this open door for revival in your community. Make sure to click on the red sign up button and register for the webinar, or use the link posted with the recording. You will get your choice to watch the webinar on the night that works best for you in your schedule. So make sure to sign up today. Okay, we are live and we have confirmation that we're live. So we will start with introductions. And so about yourself and about your school. So Brother Seth Gillet, you want to go first?
Sure. I am employee and work for Apostolic Bible Institute. I'm sitting in for Brother Grant, who was unable to be a part of this evening. And ABI was founded in 1937 and has been around ever since. And we've been attempting to fulfill our mission of the whole gospel to the whole world for the last 80 years, and we'll plan to do it until Jesus comes. And happy to be here and appreciate all of the folks that have tuned in, and all of the presidents of the colleges that have come to join us. Obviously, I will not have a whole lot of wisdom to give, and will defer mostly to the great minds that are with us. And so I'll probably listen more than talk.
All right. Brother Mooney.
Well, praise the Lord, everybody. And it's a joy to be with you. And I think what you're doing is a wonderful thing, just putting people together. It always makes a difference, and the more we communicate, the better it is. Indiana Bible College, we started about 25 years ago, kind of an interesting story, but the Lord has blessed us, and we're just trying to keep young people's focus on their calling, and helping them in the ways we can, working with their pastors and getting prepared for ministry. So we're very blessed. And we certainly have respect for all of you that are working in this field. And just from a philosophical point of view, I'm very, very keen on the idea that we really have a very unique time in history for our young people, and the opportunity to work with them and help them get ready, I think, is very exciting. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure all of you feel the same way.
All right, Brother Carter.
Well, praise the Lord. It's great to be with everyone this evening. And I'm Gary Carter, president of Texas Bible College. And Texas Bible College has been in existence since 1964. And we are happy to say that there are people from Texas Bible College all over the world, all over the globe. And it's often been said the sun never sets on Texas Bible College. And so we're glad to continue that legacy of carrying on the gospel message in the mission field and in music, theology, Christian education. And so we're just happy to be here tonight and hope to make a contribution, but we'll definitely look forward to what others have to say.
All right. Brother Eli.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this, and I greet all of my colleagues. Bible college work is not for the faint of heart, and so these gentlemen can understand the tremendous amount of sacrifice and dedication that goes into this. I'm very privileged to serve at Christian Life College. It started way back in 1949. Clyde Haney had a vision for training young men and women to reap the harvest, and we are trying to maintain with everything we have that vision, that focus. Our school has undergone significant changes in the past few years. Even a change in leadership. I've stepped into the presidency back in 2015, and yet we are committed, absolutely committed. We must remain apostolic. We cannot allow ourselves to be detached from our root system. And so Christian Life College is committed to this process of training young men and women to share the gospel and to reach the harvest of this last day revival that we are in right now. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of this.
All right. Okay, we'll start with our first question, Brother Carter. As a pastor, how can I help my young people to consider Bible college as one of their future options?
Well, I recognized a couple years ago when I went to North American Youth Congress that there is a passion and a drive among young people that want to do something significant in the kingdom. And so when I saw that drive, I realized that they had to fulfill that in one or two ways that I felt like would be significant. One of that would be to go on the mission field, and the other would be to attend one of our Bible colleges. And I realized then the importance of providing the training necessary to give them the tools to answer the call that God has provided for them. So I look at Texas Bible College as that training ground. And I never looked at Bible colleges as competition. I personally went to ABI. And so I don't mind saying that I appreciate and respect our Bible colleges. But Texas Bible College We have a legacy, a heritage. We've been privileged to see ministers in the evangelistic field, men like Wayne Huntley, missionaries like Nathan Herod, the recent youth president at the General Youth Division, Michael Enzi, and the recent General North American Missions Director, Brother Jimmy Toney. And so we feel like that training has been a rock bed solid from Texas Bible College. And that's what we will continue to do, is to provide the kind of training that will prepare young men and women to answer the call of God for their lives.
Okay. So for those that tuned in, we are looking for your questions. And so in the chat box on the right side of this webinar presentation, you can type in your questions and we will share those with the college presidents as you send those questions in. Brother Mooney,
Yes.
on the same vein, how can a pastor help a young person consider Bible school as one of their future options?
Well, I think the relationship that the student has, or the potential student has, with the pastor is crucial, because no one knows better. I think all of us understand this, that connection with the pastor and the need that the student has for the pastor is paramount to everything we do. So I'm sure all of us lean the same way, that the working with the pastor is our greatest responsibility, because they know the student, and I think they really launch young people into the ministry in one sense more than we do, but we can come alongside that and help them find their way. So that's what we try to do, and I'm sure all of us are doing that. It's very exciting work, I think, especially in these times.
Great. So one step further, I'm a pastor and I recognize there's a young person in my church that I believe has ministry potential.
Yeah.
How should I approach him and review his options with him?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you, Brother Mooney.
Yeah. You mean, how do you sit down and work with your student, obviously? And I don't know that, Bible college is for absolutely every student, but of course, as Bible college people, we probably like to say, let everybody come. But I think the pastor is just is the key, because he, looking back, and some of these other brethren have longer experiences than I do, perhaps, but I think the ones that are students that are most connected to their churches and their pastors and under the guidance of the pastors, and that's what really makes great students, and I think ultimately makes great preachers and missionaries. Mm-hmm. If I answered that right, I don't know, but I really do believe that. I'm first of all a pastor, so I just think it's like a partnership, mm-hmm. and I think when students realize that they have this encouragement from the pastor, everything changes, and the pastors just make the difference.
Okay, let me give maybe a more exact example. I worked once with a gentleman out of Florida who was got a calling in his life, but at the same time he had a full ride scholarship to play football at a university. He's a pastor in that situation.
I'm experiencing a little delay, so you might
okay.
Back that up.
The question was, okay. So the student had a calling on their life, but at the same time had a full ride scholarship to play football at a university. How would you advise the pastor in that situation in counseling that young person?
Well, if he has a call of God in his life, I would counsel him, the pastor, and anyone else. Get involved in the work of God. It's the greatest. It's the greatest thing going in the world today. Just trying to set on fire this world and helping young people find a spiritual solution to the things they're facing. So I think it's the greatest calling in the world to be in the ministry. So it would be very difficult, it would seem to me, just one man's opinion, trying to mix that with a football scholarship, because my experience with all of that is they call for their whole life pretty much. And I think that's what Christ calls all of us to do, to give our whole lives.
All right. Brother Seth, how how would you advise a pastor when there's a young person to help them consider Bible school as an option?
If the student is a good candidate for Bible school, then exposure, I think, is the name of the game. Get them connected with the Bible schools and all the various different events that are offered. ABI offers Torch, which is happening in April of this next year. It's a conference for ministry-minded young people. Also, preview weekend, we have ours coming up here in just a few days. I know IBC and TBC and CLC all do a preview weekend as well as other conferences. And so I think exposure is a massive opportunity to get students connected with where they'll fit in and where they'll find their niche to get trained for ministry, because not every school does the same thing, and not every student needs the same thing.
Brother Eli, advice for a pastor talking to a young person about Bible school?
Well, I will echo the words of Brother Mooney, because here at Christian Life Ministry, we have the church component as well as the college component. So we approach everything through the lens of a pastor. And one of the things that we have noticed is sometimes we're afraid to ask our young people to sacrifice. Anthony Campolo, one time, he said, we're about to lose an entire generation of young people. Yeah. Not because we've asked too much, but because we've asked too little. The Mormons demand that their young people give 2 years of missionary service as soon as they graduate from high school. So what Pastor Haney has done with our local church here is he said, give us 1 year, come to Bible college. We understand that maybe going to Bible college for 4 years is not the will of God for everyone. And there are other paths of answering the call of God. We're not so closed-minded. But if we can get you in a spiritual environment and really solidify your belief system, the doctrine, there's a statement that we say is you have to let the concrete harden. Let the sidewalk get hard so that you know what you believe if you are to go on and get a secular degree. But we want young people to put Bible college on their radar. A lot of young people nowadays look at the statistics, and students with a college degree, they are higher wage earners. And sometimes they dismiss Bible college because they don't feel like, well, that's relevant. I'm not called to full-time ministry. We believe that Bible college can benefit you by giving you that solid foundation to prepare you to further your education. And then for those who are called, we believe that Bible college experience, and all of these colleges would say the same thing. We believe this Bible college experience will prepare you to fully answer that call. And so I just tell young people, get it on your radar. And then I would challenge pastors is don't be afraid to challenge them to give up 1 or 2 years of their lives. They're going to work a job for the rest of their lives. Some of them are going to go to college and be in college for 7, 8, 9 years, earning a graduate or doctoral degrees. Give God 1 year, give God 2 years. And we've seen God do incredible things when young people respond to that challenge. So that's something we share with pastors, and we share with our own young people here at Christian Life Center.
Okay. The questions are starting to come in, so this is good. So Brother Eli, let's continue on that note, but now let's talk about parents, especially when parents are concerned that they want their kids to have a good financial future. And if I can just put my 2 cents in here, for 5 years, I actually consulted with Bible colleges across the denominations across the United States. And what's unique is parents who chase money or encourage their children to chase money usually fail. It doesn't mean secular college is wrong, but chasing money is definitely wrong. But if you can talk to parents.
First of all, and I'm a parent, I have 3 children. The most important thing for my children is that they're saved, is that they're in the right place with God. And I want their lives to be invested in the kingdom of God. Bible college is geared. Every one of these schools and every one of these presidents and representatives, we will speak that same message. Our colleges are geared to prepare young people for a life of service, to give back their lives to God. If they work a secular job for the rest of their lives, there's nothing wrong with that. That is perfectly appropriate for the majority of people in the church. Yet they must have something in them that values and loves the work of God, loves the Lord, loves truth. And we believe Bible college is a place where that can help be formed even better in their lives. And so it's not about the money. Jesus said, what does it profit if you gain the whole world and lose your soul? What does it profit if my children are successful monetarily or academically, but I lose them in that process? And so we've geared Bible colleges, our Bible colleges in the United Pentecostal Church, to prepare students for ministry service, to prepare them even if they're not going to be in full-time ministry, to answer the call that is on their life. And then for those that are going to be called to be pastors or evangelists, missionaries, youth pastors, music ministers, we want to fully equip them to answer that call as well. But parents, my advice to you, and Brother Plappert said it correctly, don't chase the money, chase their souls being in love with Jesus, because that's what it's all about.
Okay. Brother Carter, you want to speak to the parents?
Yes, a few years ago, I was asked to be the Dean of Christian Education at Texas Bible College. We had a tragedy. Our Dean of Christian Education suddenly passed away, and so I was put in that role at the last minute. I'd had practical application through being a principal at a Christian school and a teacher, but I hadn't understood the theory of Christian education, and so I had to ask myself the question, education's a broad field, but what is Christian education? And for me, it came down to one word, and that's values. And I understood right then what education should be about. It is about placing value in the life of young people. First of all, that they're made in the image of God and that every human being has value. But then I also understand that Christian education is such that everybody that goes into a workforce, whether they're an educator or an accountant or a lawyer, they have to have value to be able to produce the type of society that we are trying to demonstrate in the kingdom of God. And so what I would say, as I've heard Brother Lopez say, is that give Bible college an opportunity to lay that foundation in the life of that young person. And in laying that foundation, there's nothing wrong with building upon that foundation for the future, a degree, a secular degree, a business profile that goes along with your ministry. And I have seen it work the other way as well. I've seen students come to Texas Bible College that got their secular degree and then came on to get their biblical degree. They can work that out with their pastor. But the important thing is you have the right foundation to do the work of God for your future. And I believe that Bible college will equip a person to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Brother Mooney, you want to talk to the parents?
Yeah, I thought Brother Lopez said it all, really. I agree so much with Brother Carter as well. Challenge young people today. I think, you know, those of us that have lived a little while can really see something in young people today as difficult world that they're facing. Nevertheless, there's a good thing in this generation, in the hearts of the young people. They are looking for a place to die, so to speak, to give their lives to God. And I think they have to be challenged. So, and there's plenty of time for getting a good job. Everybody wants people to be successful. So, but I don't feel any particular guilt over encouraging young people to pursue their calling. I mean, you know, if God's called you, he's going to make a way. And it's like, you know, Peter's pulling in the net and Jesus is saying, go preach. Mm-hmm. So you got to make that choice.
Okay, it looks like we accidentally dropped Seth Gillet from ABI. I will speak on his behalf till he gets back. But one of the concerns that I think parents should consider is there's nothing wrong with the secular education, but how strong our students are doctrinally is very important.
Of course.
One thing we see happening with young people that go to secular college and never come to Bible college is they're doing the buffet. They're saying, okay, I believe in the Holy Ghost, but I believe in it this way. Or I believe in holiness, but I believe it in this way. And by the time they graduate, they have a customized version of Pentecost. And I think it's important that we keep that doctrine strong, and our Bible schools are very key in that. Okay, the next question up is about internships and the process for hosting an intern. So if I'm a pastor, I'm interested in bringing a young person in for the summer for music or working with the young people or helping us with outreach. Brother Eli, how would they approach Christian Life College and looking for an internship?
Sure. And we have actually been blessed to have strengthened our internship program in the past few years. And in fact, we've had whole districts partner with us. We had the Maryland, D.C. district and the past few years, the Alaska Yukon district, and they've actually taken numbers of our young people and they will have them working in churches. And so we've done it where we sent large groups to areas, or we can send individuals to churches. We just did that this past summer as well. We sent several individuals to churches. We run that through our Dean of Students at Christian Life College, Brother Richard Bishop. And we try to become an advocate for the student, because they're going to be going, and their expectation is they're going to serve your church in ministry roles for this summer. And we, tell them, you're going to go and serve. You're going to get your hands dirty. You're going to do whatever that church needs you to do. You're going to knock doors. You're going to vacuum if you have to. You're going to help set up for youth service. You're going to, whatever needs to be done. We let them know this is going to be a summer of service. And we typically, we try to make it as formal as we can. There's going to be an 8 to 10 week period that they're going to be doing this. They're going to give up their summers. And the understanding is, and we work this out with having permission of each student's pastor, that they can go work at this other church, this intern situation, if their pastor's agreeable to that. We then create this understanding that the pastor, that church, will provide the down payment for them for the next year. And that typically comes out to about $2,500. And then they will give a $50 a week stipend. Now, this is the formal arrangement. We have some that are less formal. This is what we've done with the Alaska district and different ones. And it's a tremendous benefit, because these churches get these incredibly hard workers who are just waiting to take what they've learned in the classroom and to apply it in a very real world setting. And it gives our students the incentive to go work. They come back, their down payment is paid for. One of our big goals is that students will graduate from Christian Life College debt-free. So we purposely keep our tuition low. Well, students usually work throughout the summers to gather in their down payment, those that need to do that. So this allows them to do a work for God, and then their down payment is covered through this internship program. Now, some smaller churches are not able to do that, and that's where we customize it. We'll send students, maybe it's a shorter period of time, or we will work out just financial arrangement different. But that is the typical arrangement that we set up on behalf of our students. And it's been very positive for us. Our students come back and they feel like that's been a huge part of their Bible college experience, to get out there in the real world. Some of our students that came back from Alaska last year, some of these very remote churches, were just speaking about, they didn't learn this in Bible college. It's on the job training. And so we want to keep promoting this, because we want our students not just to get the classroom, we want them to get that real world experience. Because here at Christian Life Center, it's obviously a larger congregation, and sometimes that can create a concept that ministry is going to be one certain way. But the reality of it is, when you go in and you're digging out a church, if it's a home missions church, there's a lot that's involved in that. We want our students to be exposed to that. So you can contact us, Brother Richard Bishop will set that up. And so we have the very formal system, and then we can also do an informal internship depending on the needs and the availability of funds of that local church.
Okay. Brother Carter, how they contact you for internship?
Well, we would have a form to fill out on our website for those that are interested in internship. But before that process ever comes to pass, whenever a student enrolls at Texas Bible College, there's a pastor confidential report that is filled out by the pastor. And one of the questions that we include in that confidential report, we say to the pastor, often a student is given an opportunity to do internship. Would you be willing for this student to receive information, yes or no? And if there is a no, we don't even make it available, because we really believe that as I've heard Brother Mooney and Brother Lopez say, that Texas Bible College is going to work with that pastor. And so if that pastor gives the approval for that student to go, then that student may have many opportunities that will come into their mailbox, but every one of those have to go before their pastor for approval. So once that takes place, then we do explain to the pastor that will use that student for internship that the student will need that down payment, as Brother Lopez mentioned. In our case, it's about $2,000 that helps them to get the down payment necessary to start for their tuition for the fall semester. And once that student is there on site, they will work with that pastor probably for about an 8-week period of time. And so that gives them time to come back to the school in the fall. I want to mention that our internship program is more getting off the ground under my administration, not to say that past administrators did not have it. But one thing that we are also including, we just recently had our new North American Mission Director, Scott Sistrunk, begin a course called Church Planning. And it's our desire to be able to see students go out from the junior year to the senior year and actually work with some church planning works and get funded through districts to be able to make that happen. And then to be able to come back into their senior year. And then I want their eyes on the field as they look in their senior year to the field. And Brother Sistrunk has said that any student that completes the course for launch will say get head of the line privilege to be able to go out and start in church planning ministries. So that's a new program, and it's really his desire to get the courses developed and then make it available for all the Bible colleges.
All right. Brother Mooney, you want to share about the IBC Internship Program?
Yeah, you know, I think we're probably about a ditto on all of that. But we do really try to work very, we synchronize with the pastor, with that student's pastor. But there's another little element, I'm sure that all the other schools do the same thing. We kind of watch out for the student to make sure that some pastors will kind of solicit for a student, but they don't have a real good plan for them. That can be very discouraging. On the other hand, if a student gets the right place, it can be one of the most exciting experiences in their lives, and they're ready to go. So if we can get the pastor together and then kind of make sure, Brother Carter, I'm sure you must feel the same way, where you're making sure that that student's going to a place where a pastor's going to invest some time
Yes.
in the student, because we want them to have a good summer as well. But it's a great program, and so we really emphasize the summer work, and sometimes camps. I know some of the students also are working with camp, and they work with children at district camps and stuff like that. That's very good too.
Sure. Okay. Brother Seth.
Yes, we have had several opportunities for our students to go and do internships, echo all of the same things that the presidents have said, and we do our best to work with the student's home pastor, making sure before the student ever is offered an internship that it is indeed what their pastor would like, and that their pastor would be okay with them going out in the summer rather than going home. And we've had some interesting opportunities where students have been able to go to churches and kind of build something and leave it behind, in the sense that they've worked with young people in music or in getting their youth group kind of a little bit more solidified. And when that student leaves, there's something kind of left behind with their fingerprints on it. And it's a blessing to the church, of course, and it's a blessing to that student to see that there's something that they can say they had a hand in helping create. And so one student went, and by the time he was done, there was a youth band that had been put together. He had taught them how to play and how to lead worship. Another young lady, she was working with a youth group, and it was great timing that she was there, and there was a few things that had gone on in the youth group, and she was able to help them through that, still very connected with all of them. And so we've had those opportunities in the past little while, and we are working to structure our internship in a better way. And we've been doing mostly informal arrangements where we'll work with the pastor and the student on the financial end of things and the plan that is laid out for the summer. And we're developing a program now where there'll be a structure of check-ins and meetings and just kind of making sure that everything is in line, and that should hopefully be all done and ready to go in the next 2 or 3 months.
Okay. Now, I didn't make a disclaimer before starting, so I probably should. I am a board member of the Apostolic Bible Institute and work with Seth Gillet. And I have a set of twins, Matthew and Mark, and they've been involved in internship programs. And my son Mark was involved in an interesting one. There is a cost involved in internship. These students do have a responsibility to pay a school bill. And so they, a lot of them are working their way through. They don't have government grants and large scholarships and stuff like that, like they do in the secular colleges. And so the pastor called, had a limited budget. So my son, Mark, who's in music, transferred his job to that city and kept his job all summer long, and then transferred his job back. So he didn't miss a day of work. And then that minister set up a monthly payment plan to pay one semester's tuition. So for about $120 a month for a year, he was able to bring that student in and not have to write a super large check at one time. And with my son transferring his job, it made it doable. So I think all these Bible schools are creative. Don't be afraid of the finances. Start the process and then kind of work out what you can do and work together on that. The questions are coming in. This is really exciting. So,
by the way, if there are people interested in internships for ABI students, they can call me. I meant to say that there in my little diatribe, 651-248-3359.
Okay. This question may not apply to all Bible colleges, but the question is, how can a pastor in the Northeast, where there is no Bible colleges, receive the training while also growing the church with no time to attend on-site Bible college? We'll start with Brother Mooney this time.
I didn't quite get the pastor, the East Coast pastors you're referring to that are a long ways away from most of our Bible schools now.
Right.
What was the one situation you had there? Maybe they couldn't get over to the Bible college. Is that what you meant?
Right. They're in the Northeast. There's no Bible colleges, so they want to receive training, but no time to attend. So more like a remote correspondence type thing.
You mean the pastor?
Yeah, this particular question is for how can pastors do remote training or receive remote training?
Yeah. Well, I think I don't think it's hard if they really make contact with one of our schools. It would seem to me that all of us probably would work together with whatever unique thing. We have a good number of, I shouldn't say a lot, but a good number of East Coast students. And there's a tremendous need for the East Coast, and the pastors, many of those pastors are struggling to, they certainly want their kids to come back to the East. And so I think colleges need to, at least we try to help make sure that they're interested in going home if there's an opportunity there to work out their calling back in their hometowns and that sort of thing. So, but that is a very needed area. And those cities in the East Coast, I mean, they're just booming. And so we try to get some of our choir trips over to the East Coast, and we're having a little success getting East Coast students really going back home and working. And so I'm not sure I'm answering the question very well, but
that's like, this particular question is about the pastors who want training. Is there a remote option for them to get training?
Oh, sure, yeah. You know what I mean, like courses and that sort of thing?
Right.
Yeah. Education's getting better all the way around in the United Pentecostal Church and in the Pentecostal movement overall, which probably brings the question as to how Bible colleges are going to work in the next 10 or 15 years. I think we're going to have a revolution of sorts because of the internet, and people, you know, are plugged into online education.
Right.
A different world.
Yes. So, Brother Plappert, I'd like to address that as well.
Sure, Brother Carter.
Yes. We have what we call at Texas Bible College, we have TBC Solutions. And what we have done within the last 3 years, we have our TBC campus, we have TBC Online, and we have TBC Excel. And TBC Excel is a training that's been in existence for probably 20 plus or more years now. But it's similar to Purpose Institute. It's designed so that you can actually get credit hours, and those credit hours can be used toward your degree. But what it does is it provides basic doctrines and other courses that has now been implemented to work with the general, the United Pentecostal Church licensing requirement. all of the reading requirements in our Excel program make it where a minister, a pastor who may be local licensed working toward general would be able to read the reading requirements and get his local to general to ordination. And not only that, he would get, as training is provided through teachers, they would be able to work toward an associate and a bachelor's degree. But beyond that, we have TBC Online, where you can actually take courses. You can go to tbcnow.com to learn more about TBC Solutions. I also want to mention that our chorale is going to the Northeast this summer, and so that'll give an opportunity to promote this.
All right. Your brother Eli, about remote training options for pastors.
Sure. I remember a few years ago, actually a lady, a sister from Europe, actually showed up at graduation because she had completed her degree through our online and distant learning courses. And so we have a history of working with students remotely that cannot physically make it to our campus. And it was such a joyous moment in her life when she walked across the platform and received her degree. Just 2 weeks ago, I had lunch with a pastor. He pastors a large church in the Bay Area, Pastor Adam Lopez, and he has started taking online courses because he says, I'm very busy, but I recognize the need in my ministry to continue my training, continue my growth. So whether your goal is to earn that degree or it's just ministry improvement and to be challenged and to be stretched and to grow, Christian Life College, we offer online courses, and we also in a limited measure offer distance learning courses where you'll work one-on-one with an instructor. We prefer the online course because the modules are set up and students can go through it chronologically, just go through the course step by step, and it's much easier to work with to integrate the students into the online community. What we have done is we have tried to replicate with our online campus with our online students the on-campus community. And so you'll work with the same teacher. The teacher that teaches a class on campus will be the exact same teacher that you'll work with that teaches that online course. And we're currently building that. A number of years ago, we were able to offer a complete degree online or through distance learning, just kind of a hybrid. And then a few years ago, we decided to hit pause on everything, update all of our lessons to make sure that everything that we were putting out there was not only quantity, but properly represented the apostolic doctrine and the heritage of our college. And so we are presently currently recording through all of our courses, re-recording them to make sure that everything we have. So we offer some courses online, and we're just every semester we're building that library so we can offer a student a full degree. So we offer that for you because we recognize it's a challenge being in the ministry, especially bivocational pastors. What a challenge to answer the call of God in that type of situation. So we want to work with pastors in that situation because we recognize the call of God that is on your life, and we want to do everything we can to help increase your training as you do your work for God where God has planted you.
Okay. We are having some really good chat and questions coming in. Seth, the question that came in was specifically about Torch, but I'd like to expand a little bit. At what age should we get young people involved in thinking about Bible school? Torch being one of those methods. The visit days on campus is another method. And if for some reason our schedule works out differently, can we do a private tour of the campus and come visit the college?
Sure. Torch, the age range that we appeal to is 14 and beyond, for that matter, I guess. And so, and I think that that's a good age to get young people thinking about ministry in general, getting them exposed to the idea of being involved in ministry and begin cultivating that ministry-minded young person. When I was that age, it was something that I had put far out of my mind and put far out of my life because I didn't think it was something that I could ever do or wanted to ever maybe take on the responsibility of. And I appreciate the opportunity that I've had to be involved in ministry. And a few years later, God kind of got a hold of me, and here I am today. But I think if we can cultivate that call at a young age, it will sustain young people through all of the different things that they're fighting with through high school and through all of the other decisions that they have to make as they graduate and go on. So I think 14 is a good age to do that, and they're beginning to make some life choices that are a little bit more significant and life altering. And then, of course, the preview weekends, we primarily reach out to high school seniors and juniors, trying to give them an opportunity to see what it would be like to be a student at Apostolic Bible Institute. Those are just kind of my thoughts on that. I'll defer to the rest of the presidents on theirs.
How about a private visit? I'm not able to attend any of those events. Can we schedule a private visit?
Yes, of course. If you give me a call, we can set something up. Basically, whatever fits your schedule, just give us a call and we'll work that out. You're welcome to stay in our dormitories for the length of your stay and attend all of our classes, and we'll make sure that we get all your questions answered and everything like that. So we try to be as flexible as possible with anyone that's wanting to visit campus and get an idea of what it's like to be an ABI student.
So, Brother Mooney, events that you would have at what ages for high school students to come on campus and learn about college? Well,
we have an ongoing program every year where the campuses open up, and we have a really outstanding group of people that come. I think about junior high school, probably some sophomores, but mostly people in the 11th grade and 12th grade and so forth. But we don't get too many, extremely young people. But that is a very important time for us when we have a lot of people that come on campus. Pastors come on campus. We have Pastors' Day. So we open up a lot of opportunities. And, of course, obviously we all can communicate together. So we get a lot of students that come on those days that we've set aside for people to visit the campus, and they attend the classes and they go to chapel, and it's really exciting to see how many young people, even with all the pressure that they're on to succeed and make money, still there's a lot of young people getting a call of God. I think all of us on this program know that there's just kids getting a call of God on their life, and they're sincere. So I think the future for Bible schools are great, and what we can do together is just really wonderful. And the kids are there. I think they want to come. So I think we're all doing about the same thing, opening up our doors, making the campus available. We have people coming all the time. So we had an extreme number. We had a real advantage this year because of the conference being here. So we had probably well over 1,000 registered visitors coming to the college. So that was a real shock to us, just to realize, even though there was a big number in town, how many kids were interested in schools. And they weren't all coming to IBC either. They were just wanting to see a Bible college, which I thought was really fascinating. So
right.
I think we're in a good time. If we work hard, we have to work hard.
Right. I think sometimes the students, the parents don't know, or the pastor doesn't know that students interested in Bible school. They surprise them. You look at the student and say, oh, they're not. Then all of a sudden they're interested and God uses them. Like, where'd that come from?
Yeah. Parents, I don't know about the other brethren there, but parents are really giving a little push toward young people to go to Bible colleges in our schools. And that's good news, because they're seeing what's happening in these universities. I mean, it's chaos.
Yes.
And I'm in on a lot of meetings with politicians and public servants and all of that. And it's chaos on these campuses, and the sexual revolution is just out of control. And so the good news is we've got these wonderful schools, and young people can dedicate their lives. And I think parents need to give kids a chance to respond to that calling, because what's happening in this world is pretty scary.
Right. Yeah, I think it was before Brother Seth's time here at ABI, but during our college days visits, we've had 2 young people receive the baptism of the Holy Ghost in college days, and then come into the ministry, and God used them mightily and stuff, and nobody ever thought that would ever happen.
We had a guy pray through the night before he registered for school. He prayed through and felt the call of God and showed up to registration the next morning, completed 4 years, got married, and they're headed off into ministry now.
Wonderful.
So I want to ask a question to everybody. What do you do to the kids that need to pray through and they don't? Help me with that. But you know what? It's worth it all, because you see these young people that are maybe kind of on the edge. They're fighting this whole cultural war, and when they get in Bible college and their lives turn around, you know, I drive by the school sometimes and I just have a couple tears come up my eyes, you know, think it's worth it all. I really admire all of you that are in this work, and
Yes.
we need to work closer together. I feel a real good camaraderie though every time we're together. And the market, to use a nasty word, but I think the market's really growing. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it's good news.
Yep.
And kids want to do things. They want to do exciting things. They really do.
Yeah.
So I think our Bible colleges are doing a good job, and we want parents to feel, I want parents to feel, I'm sure all of us do, just come and talk to us, make calls. We work with the pastors, and I think that has to continue to be an important emphasis, is working with pastors, because that's the secret really to everything, I think.
Okay. Brother Carter, TBC, what on-campus opportunities are there for prospectives and their parents to visit?
Well, just this past weekend, Friday, Saturday, we had TBC Legacy, which is our annual conference, and we had 912 registrants.
Wow.
And because it's a district-owned Bible college, it's obviously reaching out to both Texas, North Texas, South Texas, Louisiana, the surrounding area. So we had over 1,100 in attendance. But in the past, we just made it a conference of speaking and preachers. This year, we really highlighted TBC more than ever. In fact, everything was done by the students, the music,
Wow.
the preaching, keynotes, except, of course, the preachers, Doug White, Landon Gore, and Darren Gilbert. But what we did that was surprising, our promotions director said, we're going to give a tour to the campus for the parents and students. And however many show, we didn't organize how many would come. But do you know, we had 45 students that came to check out our Bible college, which is extremely encouraging. And that generated new ideas. So what we're going to do next year is, our plan is to make preview a part of our Legacy conference. So let students come to classes for both Thursday and Friday, go right into the Legacy, and that will be the October preview, and then we'll carry that over into, again, the April preview. But one thing that my wife does each year now at our preview, not only do we invite the students, of course, to live on campus, live in the dorms, eat the food, go to classes, we invite the parents to come, and we have a session with the parents where my wife and I visit with them, sit down, and tell them all of the policies, how your children are taken care of, where job applications or job opportunities are available, the community, what they should expect, how much money, all of the questions they may ask. We give them about 2 hours where we can answer those questions. So those are some of the ways right now that we're addressing the parents' questions.
Mm-hmm. Brother Eli, on-campus visits.
Sure thing. Well, number one, every February we have something called the Experience. And like Brother Mooney, we start at about age 16, or basically their junior year of high school. And we actually bring them on to a full week of college. They go to classes, they go to chapel, they eat in the student center. We really want them to have an experience. And it's almost kind of like test driving the car. We do charge them. We asked if they would pay $65 for that week. We've noticed that if they will have a little bit of financial investment, they take it a little bit more seriously. The response has been tremendous, and Brother Mooney talked about this. Just the number of young people that are interested in doing something for God. Last year, we were at max capacity, and we were just cramming them in. And the Bible says this, in the last days, that God would pour out His Spirit on all flesh. And we're seeing that. The number of people filled with the Holy Ghost is mind-boggling. But then the very next statement is, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. In the last days, young people are going to feel a call to do something for God that is beyond themselves. And we are seeing it. And we're having to draw up plans to expand our student housing. What are we going to do? Because right now, with our present student population, we're already bumping up against our upper limits, and we see so many hungry students. This is God doing a work, and we want to catch it in the right way. And like Brother Mooney, I don't want to use a negative word like marketing or things like this, but the reality is there are hungry students looking for what's real. So we offer the experience because we want them to come and have this experience. So that takes place in February. We also have a good number of prospective students that come to our Landmark conference, and we're very blessed that our ministry is able to host this. Landmark is obviously this high intense, highly spiritual week where we just go after God, and we have these incredible services, and a lot of students come, and that is their first experience with Christian Life College is a Landmark. And then we often invite them to come back about a month later for the experience, a few weeks later for the experience. And then we also do personal visits. This coming week, we have a young lady that my wife and we personally have had phone conversations with. She's shown up on campus with her parents to do the visit. And we arrange these things one-on-one. We just want every family to know that we will accommodate your schedule as best as we can. So the experience, Landmark, which takes place at the end of January, and then also personal visits, we will accommodate you. And we want you to really see what CLC is about. And I think every Bible college would reiterate that. We want you to see what this is really about. I say this, and I think I take people back when I say this, but if it's not God's will for you to be at Christian Life College, we don't want you at Christian Life College.
That's right.
But if it is God's will, we're going to do everything we can to see that door open, and we're going to work with you so that you will know that this is a great opportunity for you and the fulfillment of what God has for your life.
Amen. Wow. We've got another half hour, but just want to give you a little update here. We have had so many people sign up for this webinar while we were live. I've done about 8 of these in the last year, and I've only had one person do that once before. So we had people sign up before the webinar, but during this webinar, it is really booking, and people are joining us. I want to say, folks, you can go to the chat there on the right-hand side, continue to ask us questions, keep the conversation going, and we will continue. Seth.
Yes, sir.
So the students at Bible College, what can a pastor do from home to continue strengthening that relationship with their student while their student is away and support them while they're in school?
I think that's an absolutely vital thing that needs to happen. And one of the most practical things you could do is just send some cookies or something. But having a time set aside for to call them or to talk to the student maybe once a month or something like that, to keep them connected with the church, connected with what's happening, and help them see where they're going to be when they graduate. Ultimately, I think every pastor that has a young person that has a call of God in their life wants to see them come back to their home church and work in that ministry. I would say that's probably a fairly high majority of situations that come across our doors anyway. And I think the thing to do is just to keep that connection alive and keep them accountable as best as you can from a few hundred or 1,000 miles away, and give them vision. Give them a vision of what it is that they're going to do when they graduate and they come back home, and share where the church is headed with the student. And I think that'll help them see where they can end up and where they can go, and keep their focus in the right place.
All right. Brother Mooney, maintaining that relationship between the pastor and the student while they're in school.
Well, I think the pastor has to reach out to the student and stay in touch. We have Pastors' Day at Indiana Bible College, which is a very special day, and we encourage pastors who have students registered in our school, going to our school, that they come and spend a day with them. It's just it's unbelievable how many pastors do come, first of all, and then secondly, just the energy that develops around the day and the time, and we have students that have a big banquet, and the students comment to their pastors, and it's really a good day. I think I probably could speak for everybody. Really the best way, if somebody is listening to this meeting tonight, to call the school and just find out what's going on, because it's pretty hard to communicate everything. But, we'll send you packets and let you know all the dates. But I do like the idea of pastors staying in touch, and we work hard on that. And I think it's an element that really works, because the kids want their pastors to, I shouldn't say kids, but forgive me, I'm getting I'm getting a little older down the road here. But I think that when the pastors are interested in what they're doing at the Bible college, it's revolutionary. And they suddenly realize this pastor really loves me, watching after me. And that's a big thing. So I think we're all prepared to just host parents and pastors, and it's not hard.
Right.
And it's a great day. It really is when the pastors come.
In my 35 years at ABI, I've seen situations where pastor sends a student and never talks to them till they graduate. Then they wonder why the student didn't come home.
It happens.
Yeah. I think that's really important to stay, and it makes the job of the president of the college easier too.
Yeah.
If the pastor's
Well, that's what we're trying to avoid, and is get the pastor there, let them see what's going on, and feel the love, and the kids just get, they go crazy when their pastors come on campus, and they take them out. The pastor usually takes them out to eat and stuff like that, and of course it's just a good day. I'm fanatic on this one issue because I really see, so many elements in our, even in our fellowship and just in the Pentecostal movement, that's just pulling on young people. Not only culture, but just a lot of people want to aggressively attach themselves to people without really being, to drain them of their talent, energy, or whatever, and without having an investment. But those pastors have a real investment. I think we have an obligation. Keep them on board because it stabilizes Bible colleges.
Right. Brother Carter, pastor-student relationship.
Well, first, I'd like to say thank you, Brother Mooney. That's a great idea, Pastor's Day. And that's an idea that I'll bring to Texas Bible College.
We're not getting any Texas pastors.
I love that.
It is a good day.
That's really good. Well, first thing is it's the pastor that has given that student, that young person, permission to come to Texas Bible College. So one thing that's different about Texas Bible College than the other three Bible colleges is that we're district owned and operated. So we don't have a local church to attend. So we have churches that are throughout our area. Yeah. And it used to be that we made the decision where the young person would go. But that didn't work out too well because local churches would say, why are they going here and why are they going there? So what we discovered was it was better to bring the pastor in and let the pastor decide where their student attends the local church. And so we haven't had a problem, one, because the pastor gets the final say. And I've taken that philosophy throughout the entire 4 years. If a pastor sends a student, they should know the entire process of where that student's involved, where they are spiritually, where they attend church. And even in Texas, we have our handbook policies that a student has to be within a 50-mile radius unless that pastor gives them permission to go outside that radius and minister in a further church or their own home church. So what I'm saying is that we tie the pastor into every process of the decision of that young person, even at the point when they graduate. I know when I graduated from Bible college, my pastor said, I sent you away for 3 years. I want you back for 3 years. I came home, I gave 3 years, and then I launched out with his approval. So the point being is that we really do believe the pastor should be a part of all of that process. And so thank you again for ideas that are being generated here, because the more involvement the pastor has, the better it is for the student.
Yeah. Brother Eli, I'll ask you a question there in a minute about this. Share real quickly. Like I said, I've consulted across denominational Bible colleges, and I've been involved with over about 160 to 300 at different levels. And one was a Mennonite school, and their policy for dating is you had to call and get the parents' permission and record that in a log. So the school itself didn't say if you could date or not. You had to get the parents' permission. So I thought that was interesting, taking it back home where it belongs. Brother Eli.
Well, I want to echo what these other leaders have said. The role of the pastor is paramount in a student's life. And we tell our students, please keep in contact with your pastor. And we give them the expectation that when they've completed their studies at Christian Life College, they will go back home and they will serve their church and they will serve their pastor. And then if God opens other doors, that will be arranged between them and their pastor. We believe the role of the pastor is paramount, especially in these days where the spirit of rebellion tries to just, that seed tries to get in so many hearts. That's a message we reiterate over and over. The problem is, though, out of sight, out of mind. And many pastors, and I don't mean this as an indictment, but it's the reality, many pastors do not do a good job of keeping in touch with their students. And we've had some students, come to their senior year, and we always sit down and, what is your plan? What are your ministry plans? What are your ministry goals? And one question we always ask is, in your conversations with your pastors over these, with your pastor over these past few years, what is the vision you've created together? And it's very disheartening how many times we hear, well, I haven't spoken to my pastor about my life or my goals, or he doesn't know what I'm feeling. And so pastors, we just really want to encourage you, be in contact with your students, just reach out, send them a text message, have those conversations with them when they come home for the summer, just meet them for coffee, do something where they can just have that interaction with you, that dialogue, because your voice, from Christian Life College's perspective, your voice is paramount. We are not going to get in the way of your voice in their lives. In fact, we don't believe they're going to grow spiritually without your voice in their lives. So pastors, just be in contact with them, communicate with them. Don't forget about them. This past weekend, I was privileged to minister on the island of Maui with Brother Greg Shepherd. Brother Shepherd came out of Brother Lacrosse's church in Washington State. Brother Lacrosse has sent over 30 students from the time he pastored, over 30 students to Christian Life College, and every single one of them went back home because Brother Lacrosse was very diligent with communicating to his students. He was involved. He would call them. He would send them little notes of, we're praying for you, and we have a place for you. And after they graduated, he always had a plan for every one of his students. And so we honored him just for the incredible job that he did. I have a black screen, so I don't know if I'm
you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
And I know one recent graduate, I'm going to make this very quick, one recent graduate who was one of our top students, and his pastor did not have a plan for him, and he went back home, and I just did some follow-up. He is now working 2 jobs. He barely attends church. He is just hanging on to his soul because he gave himself to 4 years of college expecting to do something for God, and there was no plan put in place. And so he went back home. He sat around for a little bit, and then he decided, well, I guess I'll go work because there's no plan for me. And he did right in going back home. The breakdown was that there was not a plan for him. He's prepared for ministry. He's given 4 years of his life in training to do a work for God. And so pastors, just give some thought to that. What is this student going to do? You don't have to create a paid position, but you do have to create a purpose and find something for that student to do. They're not asking for the world, but they are asking for an opportunity to give back what they have learned their years at Bible college.
Mm-hmm. So that's very, very good. I like to put a plug in for the cookies that Seth talked about. When I was a student, one of my classmates was a missionary kid, and his grandmother every Thursday delivered a shoebox of cookies. And every Thursday night, the party was in his dorm room. So if you need to encourage a student and you need to help them to kind of break the ice to get into the social life and fellowship and lift them up a little bit, box of cookies go a long way. Hey. Tours. How can I invite a outreach group, a music group, or a Sunday school teaching group? And what kind of groups do you send on a tour, and how can we request them, Seth?
Yeah, call me. That's like my standard answer for everything right now. But give me a call and we can set something up there. We've done so many different things. We've helped home missions churches move into new buildings. We've We've done Sunday school stuff. We've done youth things. And so what we strive to do is work with the pastor and work with what they need, and work with their goal. And so oftentimes someone will give us a ring or give us a call and have an idea or have a plan, and we'll work it out and work together on that. Oftentimes I'll have groups that'll be put together through the summer that'll go to camps, and they'll be capable of preaching, singing, and taking care of other things as well as Sunday school, manual labor. I don't know, whatever we can do to be a blessing is really our goal with our tour groups. And what we attempt to do is meet the needs of the church and be a blessing to that church in whatever way is a help to them. And so you can give me a call and we'll sort something out. And we do have groups that are ready to minister in music or preaching or Sunday school or youth ministry. We're currently working with a church in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. We go there on a regular basis. I think it's every 5th Sunday that we've worked out right now. And our students teach their Sunday school for a day. And they're in a little bit of a unique situation in that 80% of their church is brand new. They're totally new to the apostolic life, and so they have 20% of their leaders that are established, and because of that, they're kind of scrambling for Sunday school teachers because a good percentage of that 20% are older and have been in church for a while and aren't able to teach Sunday school right now. And so we're able to go in and give them a Sunday off and kind of innovate for them and give them some ideas of what they can do with a smaller group of teachers. It's been a great thing. We've seen a couple of young people or a couple of the Sunday school students get baptized and make that decision. And the pastor baptized them a couple of Sundays after, and he credits some of the work that we've done there to those baptisms, and he's very happy with what we're doing. I think I'm going there in a couple of weeks and looking forward to that. So yeah, we do our best to work with the pastor and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Brother Mooney, the process for requesting a tour group and what kind of tour groups you sent out?
The process would be just contact the office, and then we'll we have a designated team that works with that and books people, books the students. They go out. We have students on the road every weekend, so that's all through the year. So there's a lot of IBC students moving around, especially in the Midwest. They don't go too far because of the time that it takes. But just pastors can call, and I don't think it's about trying to in what am I trying to say? Like in marketing, back to that word, marketing the school, but it's just an opportunity for the church, the local church, to have a really fantastic group of kids. And I'm sure everyone does. You kind of monitor the ones you send out. They have some qualifications. You're not sending out your worst students. You're sending out your best, and
Yes.
And giving them an opportunity. And they can really inspire a church just by being there. Mm-hmm. And it isn't all about Bible college. It's really about just a moment of lifting the church up. So it's a good
right. And if I could put a plug in for you, Brother Mooney, size of church doesn't matter. I know on a regular basis, you sent a group to Clinton, Illinois, to Jason Gallion's dad's church. He was my pastor when I grew up, and you guys are there pretty frequently. So size of church doesn't matter. They want to be a blessing. In fact, I think the smaller churches give the students more experience.
Oh, they do. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. And the kids love it, and plus it keeps them out of trouble if you got them on the road every week.
Trouble?
Well, not trouble. All of God's children has trouble.
Yes.
Brother Carter, for TBC, how do you do that tours?
Well, you would call Texas Bible College and ask for my wife, Cheryl Carter, and then she could direct the information to the type of group that you're looking for. Yeah. We have what we call a TMA, which is Texas Ministerial Association. It's just a fancy name for young people that want to preach the gospel. And so we'll involve our seniors through freshmen at different levels of ministry freshmen probably being involved in some testimonials, whereas others that have more training will be able to preach the services. But then we also do crusades, and that comes through our mission club. So if you want a team to come out on a Saturday, spend the night, do outreach on Saturday, and then they could stay over that evening and then preach the Sunday services, we can do that as well. And I also will say that our senior class, because they go on an annual trip every year, they need to raise money. So what they'll do is they'll put together an entire team of preaching, music, singing, outreach, and make themselves available as well. So you're helping them, and they're also being able to get out. And then, of course, music teams that want to go out, whether it's chorale, ensembles, or so forth. And so whatever size group, you can go through Sister Cheryl Carter, and she can help to coordinate that with the group that would be able to come to the church.
Brother Eli for CLC.
Our SOS, our summer of service tours, are just a hit with our students, and we have gotten positive feedback across the board from pastors. We do a pretty intense vetting process. As Brother Mooney said, we're trying to send our best out there, and really we're rewarding them for the type of students they've been to go out and have these opportunities. Typically every summer we send about between 25 to 30 students, and we send them out in 5 groups. We used to do one large group when I was in Bible college, and we realized the benefit of actually breaking that up. So now we do 2 larger groups and 3 smaller groups. We do several preaching focus groups. We do a music group. In years past, we've done a drama ministry group. And our main emphasis, if I can say it that way, their goal is to go and serve whatever that church needs. The expectation is that they will, when they show up at a church, they will help with evangelism in some way. We had a group of students that were up in Eureka, California a few months ago, and it was one of those crazy weekends for the church. They had a lot going on. Our students grabbed vacuum cleaners and brooms and were cleaning. And when we heard about that, we were very thankful, because that's ministry. It's serving. It's doing whatever it takes to advance the kingdom of God. And so they travel throughout all of our Bible colleges. I think we overlap. I believe last year, Brother Mooney, there was Indiana was here in California. IBC came to California and blessed several churches here. We have an East Coast tour. We have a West Coast tour. We have tours, especially it was a youth congress year. We had tours that journeyed across this great land of ours. All the
probably should say something about why that happens, because you get alumni who are in California.
And likewise, we have alumni on the Eastern Seaboard and so on and so forth.
But that's a long trip. Let me tell you, you're not going to get IBC in California a whole lot, but they really enjoyed it, and it's really. I tell you, our apostolic kids are wonderful. It's really amazing, and our Bible schools, I think, are contributing so much to the future, and it's a good thing. Yes. It really is. You got to have energy for it, though.
Yes, sir. So for a church or a camp, we send our students to district camp meetings or to youth camps to serve, to work the altars. Sometimes they're chaperones. They'll cook in the kitchen even. And we just tell them, you're going to go and do whatever is needed for ministry in that particular venue. So if you are interested in having a CLC group come through, you can contact us. Joanne Gresham is our director of recruitment, and she arranges all of these. They put a pretty tight schedule out there for the summer. So if you're interested, contact us. The sooner the better, and then we'll put you on our schedule. And we want our students to be a blessing to you. And we want your church, your camp to be better after our students have been there and have served, and they leave something behind that's lasting. So we will gladly come and serve in any way that we can to bless you and to bless your ministry.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities, creative ones. Again, been around the block a little bit with Bible schools, and there's a Lutheran Bible school, and one of their summer tours is Vacation Bible School Tour. And they go to church plants and home mission churches and do a week of Vacation Bible School, promote it, and teach it. And what they leave behind is contacts for that church plant or that home mission church.
Yeah.
And it's a great program. It's free Lutheran. There are about 300 churches, and they've got a big home missions department. And so most of the churches are startups. And that's the number one thing that they do is Vacation Bible School Tour. So I think all the Bible schools will be open to whatever the church's need is, and then see what they could do to supply students for that. Okay. In a closing round, encouraging word to the ministers. Give your website, give your phone number, and some closing words. We'll start with Seth.
Our website, which is brand spanking new, is myabi.org, and you can find all kinds of good information about ABI there. If you are interested in enrolling at ABI, or you have a student that is, you can call me. I'm the admissions director here at ABI. 651-248-3359 is my number, and you can reach me there at pretty much any decent hour of the day, and I will be happy to have a conversation with you and help you figure out what it is that your student needs to do. And so ABI is dedicated to spreading the whole gospel to the whole world and developing servant leaders. Year after year, it blows my mind at the things that Bible school students will do in just the sacrificial way to live for God and to minister in the kingdom of God. And it is just phenomenal. I see many young people that if I were a pastor, if I were out there in the ministry somewhere, I'd be, doing everything I could to get a hold of them and say, hey, come help me, come work with us. And it's incredible to me what happens in the 4 years that a student spends at ABI, and all of that goes on there. And for all of the other Bible schools as well, I've had the opportunity to be friends with several from all of the other schools, and it's incredible the people that come out of Bible school, and it's incredible what God does through them. So check out more information at myabi.org, or give me a call, and we'll be happy to help you out with anything we can.
Okay. Brother Mooney.
IBC will get you a real fast connection, or you can just say Indiana Bible College, and from the internet you can go almost every level of whatever we're doing. And so that's pretty easy to remember. I want to say too, to ABI, what a tremendous job you've done, and all the schools. It's just remarkable. I think there's kind of a renaissance of sorts, and we should all be encouraged. Yes. And I really like the way that you're bringing in, up at ABI, you're bringing in a lot of people and a lot of teachers, and it's really healthy. We have a big advantage in the Midwest. Both you and I have a big advantage in the Midwest to having so many people coming through, and that's very encouraging. But if I could say something here, I know this is the final round, but parents should not be fearful of Bible colleges destroying the kids, young people's future for secular work and secular success. In fact, we find that a lot of businesses are looking for these types of young people that are separated. When you go out, all of us are out there in the world. We're losing this world. We're losing this culture, the American culture. And when they see, we have people inside the building on registration day, the hotels, restaurants, begging. We've actually had students register and go to work the very first day they're here. That's how, because they're finding kids that have values and morals. So I'm just so excited about what the future is going to be for all of our Bible schools. I think God's going to really bless us. I really do. And kids are hungry to find some stability. So anyway, forgive me for talking so long.
No, you did fine. You did fine.
Okay.
Brother Carter.
Thanks for this seminar. If I don't get a chance to say it, but it's really been helpful and encouraging, and I've enjoyed just listening to all of you guys. I wish you'd talk all night. I'd just get me a big Coca-Cola and sit here and listen to it.
Brother Carter.
If you want to reach Texas Bible College, you can contact tbcnow.com. If you're an alumni and you don't know, you can contact tbcthen.com. So let me put a word out for you alumni. When I teach pastoral epistles, and I understand that when Paul is speaking to Timothy, there's one word that continues to radiate throughout the entire book, and that's the word godliness. And even though they're dealing with false teaching and different teachings and law teaching and all of this heresy that seems to be out there, the message that Paul says to Timothy is that godliness is what drives us, because godliness is godlikeness. And what I would say to any parent that is sending a student to Bible college, you're putting them in an atmosphere where they can be trained that the values of their life are all about exemplifying and reflecting Jesus Christ. And so you are giving them a launching pad to go into their world from the time of Bible college and to really have a purpose. This world is a biblical worldview. It's not a postmodern worldview. And if you will give them the right foundation, you are setting them up for the proper kind of success. I'm also teaching child development, and it's amazing the kind of nurture that a child needs even from 1 to 3 years old. Well, give us 1 to 3 to 4 years at a Bible college, I can assure you they will be properly nurtured.
That's right. Amen.
Brother Eli.
Sure. Our website is clc.edu, and it's a very comprehensive website, clc.edu. And you can find most information you would need on that website. Of course, you can always contact us, call us. You can email us through the website. We'll respond. Christian Life College, we're in a unique situation. We are seeking regional accreditation with WASC, the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. And it's been a very involved process, but this is the commitment that we are making to every pastor, to every current student, every prospective student, and to every former student. CLC will not stop being an apostolic school. We are founded on the Apostles' doctrine, and we're founded on a spiritual experience. And I've looked personally myself at other organizations that lost their way, lost their purpose, and many of them don't exist, or they're just a shell of their former selves. This process of accreditation has been involved, but we have recommitted ourselves. We are going to be the apostolic school that God has called us to be, that God put in the heart of Clyde Haney all those years ago. And so we're excited for our future. And I think you can hear all of the representatives from these schools. We're excited for what God is doing. We are in a unique time. Bible college work is a special place in the kingdom of God. Sure. And I'm excited for the Bible colleges, and we stand together. I know we have a lot of loyalty to our own schools, and I am a graduate of Christian Life College, so I have a tremendous loyalty to my school. Sure. But at the same time, I'm thankful for TBC, I'm thankful for ABI, I'm thankful for IBC, I'm thankful for these colleges that are continuing to prepare young men and women to go and reap the harvest. There are so many souls that need to be saved. Let's work together to save as many as possible before that trumpet sounds.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah. Thank you all for joining us today. Just like some closing comments. Statistically, 70% of students who go to college never finish. So when you send your kid to a community college, to a university, or whatever, there's a 70% chance they're not going to finish. And if they don't finish and they don't get their degree, and you're concerned about them making money, there's a 70% risk there, and that's including everything like a community college through a university, the overall breadth. But when you send a student to Bible school and they only are there 1 semester or 2 semesters, right? They step up spiritually. They get a challenge to grow in the Lord, and so manage your risk by sending them to Bible school. I've been in this 35 years. I've seen 1,000 students go through, and it's miracle after miracle. It's kind of funny. We get sometimes the blue bloods that you think, oh, that person's going to go out and go do something great for God, and you get a real quiet backwards person, and that real quiet backwards person graduates, and a year or two later they're preaching at a general conference. They're doing great things. Holy Ghost, where did that come from? But they commit their lives. Sacrifices. Some of these kids, they've got to work like terrible hours and just to barely make their school bill. And God honors that sacrifice. There's some awesome stories. My opportunity, if I wasn't for Bible school, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And I'm very thankful for that. Brethren, thank you all so much. Thank you for the participants, all the people that signed up. This was a great success. And this video will be on our YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube, look up Finish Line Planner. This video, along with the other webinars that we have done and some Church Growth Insight videos that we've done, are available there for you. If you signed up for this webinar, you will be receiving a series of emails from us about that Reach Every Door campaign and how to use direct marketing and get a larger results from using direct marketing. Appreciate if you sign up for that. That's free, and you'll walk away with a ton of good tools and insights that you can use in your community. Thank you, everybody, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Brother Clapper.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great to be with you.